And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Starting off with satellite imagery today, over the interior here, you can see circulation right up here over the upper Yukon Valley area, associated with an upper level low pressure area, and moisture coming southward here, bringing a lot of clouds and some light precipitation here to the Arctic coast into the North Slope and the Brooks Range, but amounts pretty light. Actually, across much of the interior here, kind of a widespread area of light rain and showers with cool temperatures, cloudy skies, and a system now pushing in toward the southeast coast, linking up with leftover moisture from a trough earlier today. And out to the west, next system pushing a lot of moisture into the western Bering Sea there, and some of those higher clouds already getting just west of the Pribilof Islands. And between the system here over the interior and the one out to the west, high pressure building in, dropping the winds off here over the northern and eastern Bering Sea today, but still pretty gusty along the southwest coast, 25 to 35 miles an hour out of the northwest. Eastern, or along the entire Arctic coast, they had west winds of 25 gusting 35 miles an hour up there as well, with mixed precipitation of at most a few hundredths of an inch. And over the interior, kind of a varied precipitation amounts in the interior as well, with 7 Mile having about 4/10 of an inch of precipitation today, while Fairbanks just had 1/100th of an inch, and then Battles picked up about 2/10 of an inch. And precipitation here, again, not too heavy here over the south central Alaska area with showers. Some of those showers developing, get a little heavier this afternoon, and that extends up along the North Gulf Coast with this system here, and a trough bringing showers to the Panhandle today, with Juneau picking up about 1/10 of an inch, much drier down to the south. This system tonight will push rain and wind into the Panhandle. Look for rain heavy at times and gusty winds across all the southeast coast, and rain back up along the North Gulf Coast with showers into the Kenai Peninsula. Matanuska Valley, northern Cook Inlet, Copper River Basin, drying out over the interior. This trough brings a few skiffs of snow to the eastern Arctic coast toward the Brooks Range. And high pressure pushing in toward the west coast here dries it out with diminishing winds, especially along the coast, diminishing winds to the Alaska Peninsula. Winds pretty gusty. Kodiak Island tonight could gust as high as possibly 40 miles an hour in channeled areas there. And next system pushing precipitation in toward the Pribilof Islands on Sunday. Look for wet, windy conditions, St. Matthew Island, and dry through the day, but increasing winds for St. Lawrence Island. Wet and windy for the Pribilofs. Rain, fog, drizzle, IFR with that warm front pushing into the eastern Aleutians, western Alaska Peninsula. More solid rain with the cold front back across Adak and Atka. Looking for gale force winds to swing down around this backside of that system with that trough eventually into the western Aleutians. And that occurs on Monday, but meantime, this low pressure area edging back to the west here along the North Gulf Coast, and that's going to hang the front up across the southeast coast, and look for several inches of rain to fall, the heaviest amounts down toward Ketchikan, Annette, and Metlakatla in those areas. Still cloudy and showery over the eastern interior, but that's mostly south of the Brooks Range and north of the Alaska Range. Partly sunny south central Alaska, mostly sunny Kodiak Island, and mostly sunny for the southwest interior. In fact, all the western areas into the North Slope looking pretty good for the day on Sunday. Then on Monday, this system finally pushes inland with rain and wind pushing into the Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta, Bristol Bay, southern Kuskokwim Valley, Kodiak Island, maybe up to southern Cook Inlet, definitely Kamishak Bay, and a trough with more showers over the Matanuska Valley into Turnagain Arm, Chugach Mountains there, into Prince William Sound. Scattered showers over the eastern interior with dry and more sunshine in the central interior up to the North Slope and Arctic coast. And the system moves into western Canada and weekends, leaving diminishing showery conditions behind the Panhandle. You can see some clearing right along and just off the coast there. And for lows tonight in the 30s, most of the central and northern interior out to the Arctic coast. A little below freezing along the Brooks Range there. Otherwise 30s and 40s across southern Alaska, 40s to near 50 for the Aleutians, and generally in the upper 40s to lower 50s for the Panhandle. Highs tomorrow in near 60 for the Yukon Flats, otherwise in the 50s for the interior, 40s for the Arctic coast, and 50s to upper 60s, or 50s and 60s for the Panhandle. And then the lows on Monday morning, again in the 30s, much of the interior here, especially north of the Alaska Range, down to around 40 in the Copper River Basin, and 40s for the Alaska Peninsula, 53 for Unalaska, and for the highs, a little bit milder, pushing up above 60 now, a little bit there for the central interior, otherwise upper 50s to lower 60s. Same thing, south central Alaska, Copper River Basin, and 55 to 65 for the southeast coast, upper 50s for Kodiak Island, and lower 50s for the Aleutians and the Bering Sea.